Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Business from Scratch podcast. I'm your host, Abbye McGee, and today I've got one of my favorite people as a guest. You might not think you know who Tori from Brave Creative is, but you do. You've felt her spirit behind the social media account of this podcast, of Salt and Charm, and some of the biggest brands in Wilmington. She has lots to say about when it's time to work with a social media manager and how their creative process really works. So let's get into it. You're listening to Business from Scratch, the podcast for people building businesses they love without losing themselves along the way. I'm your host, Abbye McGee. Let's get started. Hey, everybody, welcome, Tori.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I've been trying to get you on here since the beginning.
Yes, you have.
And I finally wore you down.
I was playing hard to get.
You were. But I'm glad you're here. You guys, if you don't know who Tori is, you do, because you've seen her in all of our social media for the podcast. She is the magic behind it. She does all of that for me. She's worked with me at Salt and Charm as well. If you have Instagram in Wilmington, you know her, even if you don't know her. So
sure.
Yeah. But you're a huge help to me. And so I felt like it would be fun to talk about your business, Brave Creative, and also what our process has been a little bit behind the scenes and how we have worked together, because I think that will help people. This podcast is mainly for people who are new to business or have a smallish business and they're like bootstrapping. They're just trying to figure it out. They're doing a lot of it themselves, which is me still a lot of the times. But seeing how what you do can help a business grow and being able to understand the leap of posting on Instagram yourself and just doing a mediocre job or a poor job, some of us.
And it's stressful.
It is. It's stressful.
Is it nice not having to worry about posting?
Yes.
I was setting you up for that.
It is.
Yeah.
It's so nice. And I think for me, I have my personal account, I have the podcast, I have Salt and Charm, I have the bar, right? And if I had to manage all of those, Instagram pisses me off anyway, because it's just like a source of anxiety these days lately because of all the stuff you have to go through.
Yeah.
So being able to hand that off and like create some space in your life, in your schedule, your time management, and mentally is a huge part of my decision to bring you guys on for the podcast, and now giving you back Salt and Charm, which I'm very excited about.
Me too.
Because it's a lot. It's a lot in your anxiety levels and just trying to figure out what to do. And you're trying to run your business and you have 4,000 other things you need to do, and figuring out what needs to be posted on social is a lot.
Moves very fast too. So I wouldn't ever expect
Yeah.
you or any of our other clients to be able to keep track of all of the things that happen on social media in a week. Like our Alex conversation before the camera started rolling. Like, why would you need to know that?
Yeah. I don't want to.
I would
know
imagine
that.
if this wasn't my career, like I wouldn't be as in the know, but that's our jobs to know all the things that are going on. Like we have meetings centered around Googling pop culture, what's happening this summer. We've been talking about the World Cup a lot. And none of us on the team are big soccer fans, but we are like, okay, we need to know a little bit more about this. Yeah, how we can apply it to our clients and come up with some fun ideas, a little out of the box for that.
I need to know about that, because how do you take soccer and apply it to a client who has a restaurant? Like, what in the world?
It depends. Those meetings are centered around going through each of our clients, and for you, for Business from Scratch, for example, not super applicable just because you're not talking about pop culture events or doing anything related to them in your podcast. Luckily, your podcast has a lot of evergreen content. Where it can be posted months after and still be relevant.
Right.
A lot of our other clients like we are brainstorming for one of our coffee shop clients how to apply the World Cup because they do a lot of relevant posts for what's happening in pop culture. And we've been struggling with it because they aren't always talking about sports.
Right.
But even the other day, we were having a meeting with the owners and we were even checking if they wanted to do anything in regards to it. And I know the girls are going to watch this after and be like, oh my gosh, Tori is talking about the World Cup again. When I first brought it up, they were like, I don't even know anything about the World Cup.
How do you connect those dots?
Yes. Anyway, we talked to the clients and they were like, yeah, we're not really into soccer. I know that it's like happening though. Maybe we could kick something. And they said kick something. And I was like, perfect. Why have we not thought? For some reason, I was thinking like they had to play a game of soccer. It's crazy how a creative idea can come to fruition or be so hard to get to when they just said kick something. And I was like, oh, perfect.
Netflix.
I had 4 ideas like come to my head as soon as they said that. But again, it depends on the client when it comes to those types of things. And we're not going to just have like, we're not going to just create a World Cup post because it's relevant. And that comes back to, I've talked to you at nauseam about strategy and we don't post just to post. It all comes back to that. So if it's not relevant, we're not going to talk about it. But lots of things to consider.
It's like you guys have to know kind of a little bit of everything that's going on and that people are interested in, people are talking about so that you can be ready to do it if it makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to talk about your mission statement because you brought this up to me when we were talking about what we were going to do in this episode. And you wanted to make sure that what we were, and I get it, and I agree with it, that it makes sense for what you guys do and for people to understand what you do. But your mission statement is to translate a brand's identity into an online presence that's human enough to connect and strategic enough to perform over time. And I've seen you work like that. Like you it's not just words that you put on your website. Like that's real to y'all. And you're thinking about it constantly and trying to be intentional about what you're posting, like, which is what you were just talking about, that it's strategic to actually do what the client needs it to do, which is not just take up space on their feed. It's to communicate to their clients what they're selling, what they're doing, how they can make their life better. So tell me how you guys translate that mission statement into your everyday.
Well, first of all, it's funny that you brought up the mission statement. This podcast, I know, is for new and aspiring business owners, just started. I can't stress how important a mission statement is. And I was a hypocrite for years because we hadn't really settled on one. So I was very excited to tell you that we did because I had...
Look what we did.
Let me put it into practice.
Yes.
Putting it into practice is super important. And that's like, your question is super relevant. Excited to answer it because we had finally established a mission statement after years. And that's just me being very honest. Like Brave was 5 in March and we had just settled on a mission statement a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So not to say, I think everyone should establish one right away, especially as someone who is big into branding, but it can be hard. Now that we have established one, it is so great to go back to it. And I'm so glad. And I love that you said that we do that every day because that was the goal of following a mission statement.
Well, and I think it is important to have one in the beginning, and a lot of people don't know that is helpful, right? To inform what your decisions. But you just turned 5. I bet that if you'd put a mission statement in the beginning, it would change about year 5 because your business is going to become something else. It always does. Your business evolves into what you need it to be, what your clients need it to be, what the universe needs it to be. And so it's a good starting place to have one, but be flexible enough to be like, okay, well, the business has changed. So
100%.
let's redo it.
I think like revisiting it probably yearly annually would be the best move. But you're so right. Like when we first started, I mean, I think at the core, we also established our values. Our values have always been the same. And that is something that I think probably should stay the same for a business. But when it comes to the mission statement, for sure, it can change and be molded. Like even a word in it can change.
Yeah.
But when it comes to how we practice it every day, it usually, I think it'll make most sense if we start from when a client joins us. We, right off the bat, will say, thanks for working with us. And then we go, here's a questionnaire, a very long questionnaire, which you'll receive for Salt and Charm. A long questionnaire on, and we'd like you to answer all of these questions about your brand, from why you chose the colors to what are the colors to what makes your audience excited. What do you think your audience does on a day-to-day, not even including your business, like really get into their heads. Those types of questions, and what has worked for you on social media so far, what hasn't, lots of different questions and sections on that. And then we take those questions and turn it into a brand strategy with the client. We'll create kind of we just started doing a presentation kind of thing, where we'll take all their questions, put it in to that presentation, and then we use that kind of as our guiding light afterwards. So we'll meet with the client, show them the presentation, and say, make sure that they agree.
Right?
Yeah. And then once we're all on the same page, that is something we check back in on and use throughout our time with the client. Again, like things change all the time. We will be checking in on that and seeing if things change within like 6 months. But in that presentation, we'll establish like a content funnel where like different types of content are important for a client. That helps us, especially in the brainstorming stage of content, where we have to decide what to post. So we'll create a certain amount. The top of the funnel is like awareness type of content. So for business, if we were to give an example for business from scratch, it would be the simplest type of post where this is business from scratch. Let me tell you what we're going to talk about on the podcast. Who is this for? And then the second part of the funnel, the little smaller middle part, would be like trust and credibility type of posts. So where you talk about pricing and then you give real world examples from Salt and Charm within the podcast and that episode. We would post like clips from that to show like you're credible.
I know
you
what I'm
own
talking
businesses.
about.
It isn't just someone random preaching about who knows what. And then the third part of the funnel would be conversion. So that would be the very last part of like someone follows Business from Scratch, the podcast, or downloads. That's always the goal, but that's a smaller amount of content just because we don't like to be salesy, which we've told you all the time and all of our clients. That is just not what works on social media. No one wants to see that.
It's annoying.
We talked about ads.
Yeah.
They don't work.
Yeah.
I mean, they do. I mean,
they do.
Take that out.
They work.
Yeah.
They work, but they also like you have to do it correctly because you don't. It's easy to cross a line into annoying people.
100%.
If you're just selling, do this, click here, sign up. You know, you're asking them to do stuff all the time instead of giving them something.
Right.
And I think that's what social should be most of is like, what can I provide for the person watching this? What can I give to you that's helpful for you?
And with a lot of our clients, it's not so much as like a single quick buy. And we're getting off the weeds of how this goes for my mission statement, but that's okay. It's not like they're I'm thinking of like TikTok. I get ads of the same thing. If it comes up and I like look at the comments, they'll be like, oh, she likes this. I'm going to keep showing it. But sometimes it does get me. I have bought things off TikTok Shop.
100%. I have too.
Let's get real.
Oh, yeah.
So like if it shows me the same shirt a million times and it looks good on every different girl that shows up on my For You page, I eventually will buy it.
Buy it, yes.
But I don't know the brand. I don't know. Like the only reason I bought it is because it kept showing up so many times that it didn't feel like an impulse buy. I was like, I have thought about this so many times. I'm going to treat myself and get it.
You have been forced to think about that so many times.
Which is kind of marketing.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to see something at least, I think, 7 times before you make a decision on it and buy it or follow them or et cetera.
Listening to you talk about this just reinforces my decision to hand this off, because there's no way for me to disseminate all of that information and know what works, what doesn't, how many times people need to see something. How do you even begin to think about creatively how to set that up so that you're getting the right content in front of people enough times for them to buy your product or service? What's the ratio of like giving people good, feel good content that's not salesy, but then sliding in the sales, There's no way for me and most business owners to be able to figure all that out.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
It takes so much time and understanding. And so, one of the things I wanted to talk, and it's in there somewhere.
Awesome.
One of the things I wanted to talk about is how do business owners know that it's time to hand it off? And how do you talk about ROI with your clients to help them make that transition? Because it's not inexpensive. It's an investment. But when you see what it brings back to you in your time, because one of the things business owners have to figure out is how to work on their business and not in their business. If I'm spending 20 hours a week trying to figure out TikTok and Instagram and whatever else it is I'm supposed to be figuring out, I'm not pushing my business. I'm not growing the business. I'm in the weeds of freaking social media, and that's not my place, right? So how do you talk to business owners, and how do you help them see when it's time to transition? Because it is just hearing you talk is a reinforcement to me. Please just, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Help.
Yeah. So honestly, when it comes to when they're ready, it depends on if they are in a place. So it depends on the type of service they're looking for, especially for Brave Creative. A couple of years ago, we were very much wanting to work with small businesses that were just starting, kind of like exactly the audience you're speaking to, and trying to help them build their brand. The more we, did our jobs and learned the hard way, we were like, that's a whole different service than social media management. And as branding is totally different from social media management.
Right.
And as social media has evolved and gotten more intense and more work, even social media management is different from content creation and content capturing. They're all different. So when a client decides they are ready for social media management, because I think that's what most people usually come to us for, you filled out our inquiry form. We ask the type of questions that we're trying to see if a client is ready to work with us.
Right.
Our mantra used to be, let us take it off your hands. We can do it all for you. And at 5 years old now, we are like, we should probably change that, change our messaging a little bit.
Yeah.
And it has more so become, collaboration is one of our values. It's so important to us. And we want to collaborate with our clients and be able to bounce ideas off each other. So, and not to say we want a business owner to be like fully a creative partner with us. We know that that's not always their forte either. But even down to like the perfect client is able to answer a prompt for us. Like, I've sent you, hey, I think that this idea would be good for you to talk about. I think it was around New Year's. But anyway, we sent you like a prompt and we said, could you send us back a voice memo of you just chatting about it so we can create a post in your voice? And you did, and it was perfection. And even the simplest things like that, like that's the type of collaboration we're looking for. So if a client is ready to do that with us, perfect, let's do it. They should be looking to just not have to think about social media anymore. And if you're spending money, if you're deciding that you want to spend money on social media, you'd be previously a client might be just posting to post.
Right.
Because everyone says you should be on social media.
Right.
But they might be losing money doing that because they're not doing it strategically.
Right.
So that's what a big part of our mantra is, creating content to perform strategically over time. The over time part is very important too, because you mentioned like the ROI on what we do. In marketing in general, sometimes it's very hard to measure.
It is.
And so there was a point there that I was going to get to.
Well, it's hard. It's hard to measure, and you're also, business owners are doing other things too in marketing, right? So you're investing in like SEO, and you're investing in paid ads, and you're investing in social media management, and it is very hard to know where your income is coming from. You might be able to see your click-through rate for an ad and see who bought something,
right?
But that's really not a super clear picture.
Yeah,
you know?
And your client's ROI will depend on their goal. That's what I was getting to. Like, if a client comes to us and is like, when you started the podcast, you just wanted people to know that the podcast existed.
Right.
And we were like, all right, we're really going to focus on awareness. And if we see through Instagram's metrics that you are getting more views every month and you're reaching new people, then the ROI is good.
Right.
Like, we're doing our job.
Yes.
We have been at 5 years old now, we have been trying to get more numbers out of our clients, because we are really, social media can be it's a love-hate for us. It's draining. And but it's also, we love to do it. And so you get to a point where you're like, is this even doing anything?
Right. You need to know you need to know the success of it too.
Exactly.
So you're trying to get like revenue numbers out of clients to see like where is it tracking, what's working, what's not.
Depends on the client.
Yeah.
So like,
if that's their measure.
Yeah. That's why automation, like we wanted to automate comments to see who would comment to want to get the link to the podcast. If we get a ton of comments, that means everyone wants the link, everyone's interested. But it could be different for like a food client, giving like discounts, seeing how those work, or just posting some type of like deal for a service industry based client only on social media and seeing who comes in and knows about it.
Right.
That tells us. Or even, it's so hard to capture, but when we'll have clients randomly be like, oh, someone came in and like said, I found you off social media. And we're like, write that down.
Right. We need to know that. That's so helpful.
So it is a hurdle that we're trying to jump and figure out.
Yeah.
But it is super important to us. So that's like, I think the newest thing that we're trying to create a process for.
To get some data for your brains. Yes. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's a moving target. And so if you don't have, it's like when we look at our numbers sometimes on a daily basis, because we need to see the data points to know if we're doing our job correctly. And you're flying blind if you don't. And for years, we didn't look at any of that. We just made good food and hoped it sold, which it did. But being more strategic about growing a business and growing a brand, like you have to get granular about it and see what is working, what is not, in order to know what to do more of and what to do less of.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's our whole shtick.
Yeah.
Like that's marketing too in general, but also social media, like just trying things is what we do. And if it works, we're going to try to keep doing it. But then sometimes there's also the dance of doing something too much. And like we did it once. It worked really well. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Then on the third or fourth try of posting that type of content, it flops because people are like, oh, I saw this already.
I'm tired of seeing it.
And then you have to pivot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pivoting, social media in general and marketing. Like it's very much constantly, I mean, even it's weekly, really, for social media.
This episode is brought to you by the Starling Whiskey and Wine Bar, the neighborhood bar here in coastal North Carolina in the Cargo District. We built the Starling to be the kind of place where you're greeted by name, where conversations linger, and where exceptional cocktails, wine, and whiskey are shared around tables that feel like home. Whether you're meeting friends after work, celebrating something special, or just need a place to land at the end of the week, we love to welcome you in. You can find our hours, events, and private gathering details on Instagram at The Starling Bar or online at thestarlingbar.com. Mention the podcast next time you come in to receive 10% off any retail wine bottle to take home with you. We'll see you there. With that in mind, like what do you do to keep your creative self fed, but you're also having to spend equal time like looking at data and, the business side of your business, but your business is creative. Like how are you feeding yourself creatively, all of y'all in the business? Because that's like a majority of what your client wants to see is how creative are you and like what ideas are you bringing and what's working.
A lot of changing our environment helps us a lot. Like in the beginning of spring, we had a meeting in Airlie Gardens, which was lovely and magical, which helps the creative juices flow. I think we all like nature helps us a lot. We'll sit outside at a coffee shop compared to inside, and that helps. Even sunlight sometimes is just like the answer. We had an office, like just one office room for like a couple years. And we were like, why? And then one day we were like, this does not work for us. It almost does the opposite in the creative productivity part of our job. So now we work at Common Desk, co-working space, and that's really helpful for our creativity too. Being able to, I forget what they call it, but whatever type of membership we have, we don't have an office there either. We just bounce around to their common spaces. They have like 3 floors of common spaces.
Yeah. So you're switching up what your eyes are seeing, what your ears are hearing, what you're like breathing in, the whole
100%.
environment needs to change regularly for y'all to like stay in a creative loop.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the numbers are just like bouncing between the two. The numbers can be motivating to create something better or similar to what's working. I love looking at the numbers, and like my social media director, Lexi, we both geek out over the numbers and the terms that Adam Mosseri puts out, the head of the CEO of Instagram. We'll get very excited about them. So definitely two totally different types of things in our jobs, but they kind of like, correlate, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For sure. Also, in the pretty recent past, you became the sole owner of your business.
Yes.
Which I think is badass.
Oh, thanks.
How long ago was it? Like a year?
It was July last summer. So oh my gosh.
Less than a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it'll be a year in like 2 months, which is crazy.
Yeah. So you had a co-owner for a while that was not like necessarily involved in the day-to-day operations.
Mhm.
And then you purchased the business from that partner. And now it's your baby.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
I was cheering you on the whole time.
You were, all of my small business owner friends were fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I could not have done it without all of your, even if like it was just one text that you sent, it was very helpful and encouraging.
Yeah. So congrats.
Thank you.
Do you feel like your mindset shifted when it became yours 100%? And it was the responsibility was solely on you.
Yeah. I mean, the day I signed like the papers and got the official, like, okay, it's yours type of email, it felt no different. I was like, all right, well, I think I got the email and then had to, create a post. So I was like, all right, that's cool. We didn't celebrate until months later because everyone was so busy.
You were just going.
Yeah, so there definitely wasn't. I mean, I did post a video on Instagram of me crying, and that was like the one moment where I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing this. But besides that, it wasn't particularly like it was scarier for sure. It is scarier every day. I will say my business partner, he was the one that had all the business experience.
Right.
We started the business together because I had the creative marketing background, went to school for communication. That was how I came into play. But every time there was like maybe a client issue that I had never been through, he was the one that would help me through it. Like, he wasn't a part of the day-to-day, but he was very much like huge mentor. So then once I bought it out, I didn't have that.
You had to figure it out.
Yes. So again, like, I didn't decide like, oh, I know everything now. It was more so turning to other people and getting their opinions, which was very refreshing and lovely and eye-opening, because for so long it was just advice I was getting from one person,
right,
who I very much trusted, and it was all like great advice. It was just really great to start to get other opinions. And I don't know why I never asked y'all anything because I had someone too. But yeah, that part was, I learned so much, and I can't believe it's going to be a year, but the period of time where we were, in negotiations and such, like, I learned, I had never even looked at a P&L before.
Girl.
But that was always his thing. Right. Like, I didn't look at numbers. Yeah. Taxes came up. I was like, please get this away from me and tell me just what I need to sign and what the numbers are.
Oh my God.
We owe something?
I tell Matt all the time, I'm like, if I get hit by a bus, here's where all the stuff is. And he's like, please
don't get hit by.
Please don't. I don't know how to do anything. I asked him recently, I was like, do you even remember how to log into the banking app to look at our bank account? He's like, I don't have the banking app. And I was like, Matt Ray. So
that's concerning that he was my biggest advice. Who am I getting advice from?
You need to start right around Matt and come see me.
No, I will, like, shout out Matt Ray.
He's
like,
awesome.
He is my big brother. And you were saying he's like your brother. That man helped me so much throughout all that. He helped me get a great lawyer, like everything. I was calling him maybe once or twice a day. Yeah. And he was just like letting me vent or helping, like, he has incredible advice.
He does. He is very wise and a great friend and business partner. And I joke with him about the bank account and the P&L.
Yeah, even though he doesn't.
I don't, whatever.
You got the bank account.
It's fine. I got it.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like, I had someone else I definitely looked at the bank account, but again, like, I didn't know terms or anything.
Well, and if you don't have to, we don't fill our brains with unnecessary information, and then you get thrown into the deep end and you have to learn it, which is good. I think everybody needs that moment where you're like, sink or swim. It's up to me to figure this out. And I know that I have a safety net of like people that I can ask questions to. I still do. I still have people that I call and be like, what do I do?
I don't think people survive without. I mean,
no,
a lot of creatives are freelancers,
Mhm.
but me and my team, we all are constantly like, how do they do it?
yeah.
Like, and yeah, community is
Yeah.
huge. And
I have one of my former chefs who now owns her own business. She'll about once a week she'll text me, "Can I have a mom moment?" And she'll like either call me or text me like a business question, like, "I don't know what do I do? What would you
Mhm.
do?" And I love to help because I had so many people helping me, and I still do. And like you can't be afraid to reach out and be like, "I don't know what I'm doing,"
yeah,
because I can promise you that none of us know what we're doing.
definitely also
None of
learned
us.
that during that whole
Yeah.
stage of buying someone out.
Yeah.
Like,
And the faster you can
yeah.
admit that and humble yourself a little bit and be like, I really don't know what I'm doing. I've been in business for myself for like 7 years now. I still don't know what I'm doing most of the time,
Mhm.
but I can fake it and I can figure it out and I can ask somebody
What
for
was the
advice.
quote you gave me for that post about things entrepreneurs say? It was, I don't know,
I
but
don't
give me
know.
5 minutes
Yeah.
and I will.
Yeah.
It's so true.
It's very true. And I like multiple times a day, that's what I say to myself in my head.
Mhm.
You don't know how to do this, but you know how to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, me trying to figure out health insurance with texting you and being. I texted so many of our small business friends. It was like,
Mhm.
what do you guys do? Which luckily, yeah, we do have. I feel like there are good people that are
Mhm.
willing to share how they do it and what they do it. I
Mhm.
mean, Kristen and Wes from Boom Pilates,
Mhm.
the other day I was talking about accounting and everything, and Kristen was like, offered up Wes, and she was like, he can tell you how to do payroll. Like, I'll tell him to sit down with you and he can help. And I was like, I love you guys. So
Yeah, well, I've never asked somebody for advice and been told no.
yeah.
I mean, I've never experienced that. Like genuinely people want to know. And you know the people. Like you're not going to go ask some random, person in an office somewhere that you don't know, but
Yeah. I
business
will say I don't know, but I like usually I feel like
Mhm.
we've all gone through a lot of the same
Mhm.
things.
Yep.
And buying him out also definitely made me realize I'm actually an entrepreneur
Mhm.
slash business owner, because I mean, the
Mhm.
first couple of years, I think a lot of business owners' stories, it makes sense that they started a business. They were like, oh, I had all these ideas to start a business. I've always wanted
Mhm.
to own a business. Like, that's just always been who I am.
Mhm.
And that was not the case for me. So I kind of felt like a fraud
Mhm.
because my previous business partner was my previous boss, and he just
Mhm.
really believed in me. And I'm so
Mhm.
grateful for that.
Mhm.
But I never, ever, like throughout my whole childhood or even into college, was like, yeah, I think I want to own a business one day, or like, I'm going to
Oh,
do
me,
this.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I did not grow up
I don't think I knew that. So I love to hear that.
Yeah, no, I grew up in a pastor's home. And so
Right.
like I grew up in a home of leaders and I was
Mm.
always a leader. Like whatever I was involved in, I always ended up being like in charge somehow.
Yeah.
And
We definitely differ in that.
yeah.
I'm not.
So I grew up that way, but not in an entrepreneur's household at all. And so
Yeah.
that was never on my radar I'm going to own a business.
Mhm.
I was in my 40s when I started my business. So
Yeah.
I always worked for other people and
Mhm.
up until that moment. And then I felt I would feel the friction of working for other people, but knowing that I wanted to do it differently.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it the way y'all want to do it. I have my own ideas.
Mhm.
And eventually you just kind of like find yourself getting pushed into where you're supposed to be. So even if it's not where you thought you would be.
Yeah. I believe in that. I believe
Mhm.
in everything happens for a reason. Some people
Mhm.
don't. Cat doesn't, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And that,
Well, I think you could reframe that though and say you can find reason in everything. So
True,
it might
yeah.
not have it because I think some things are horrid and I would never want to put the stigma on it that happened
Exactly.
for a reason, but you can find meaning and reason in anything.
Yes.
And if
Yeah.
if the universe and your world is like pushing you, you can either say yes to it or you can say no, and that's your choice.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you said yes because you're a
Me
huge help to
too.
me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yes, I think, again, maybe I haven't reflected on enough, but you asked about like how things have changed in my mindset. Like I think things changed more than I realized. Like I'm fiercely protective of Brave, and the fact that I can give my team an environment that they enjoy is very rewarding every day. And I think that is one of my main drivers because, I mean, we're all in our, oh my gosh, I'm in my late 20s, but we started, we were just like, just figuring out working in general, like all of us.
Well, what are you excited about next for Brave, with Brave?
Oh. I'm like, what did we even just talk about?
I know you're excited. You're excited to work with Salt and Charm again.
Definitely excited to work with Salt and Charm. Excited to go into the summer, create some summer content.
Yeah.
And hopefully work on us a little bit. That's like definitely the next step. Maybe get a photo shoot in for ourselves. That'd be lovely.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget about yourself.
Yeah.
In the midst of taking care of everybody else and their business.
Yeah. I'll try not to.
You're doing great. Where can people find you?
People can find us on Instagram at Brave Creative Agency or at our website, bebravecreative.co.
Amazing. Thanks for joining me on Business from Scratch. Follow the show for more honest conversations about building a business that works for you.